Hi everyone, my name is Simon Ingalls from ILTC, Intensive Language Training Centre, Australia, in this third part of a brief sequence of 5 videos looking at extremely widespread problems in IELTS essays which are fairly easily fixed. Problem number 3 is not a grammatical problem, it's actually a style problem, and I would label it as grandiosity. The essay question will ask your own opinion, your own view, your own argument, but for some strange reason, a lot of people start speaking on behalf of really large numbers of other people who are not named, not identified, and it's a bit weird. It makes the reader feel a little bit annoyed, but more to the point, it's not what the question asks you. The question doesn't ask you what large numbers of people think or do, or it doesn't ask you what everybody thinks or does. And you're not entitled to assume what large numbers of other people think or do normally. So the key thing to overcome this is to speak on your own behalf. Speak only about your own views on a subject. Don't claim that you represent large numbers of people. Unless you're the leader of a country or the leader of a government somewhere, which most of us are not, correct? So avoid language that says things like many people believe that, everybody knows that, most people think that. It's not what the question asks. It asks for your opinion, your experience and your views, not to pretend that you represent everybody in a country or an area or something. There may be times when you want to actually talk about patterns of behavior in a group that you know a lot about or that you're familiar with. That's kind of a bit different. If you have the need to talk about groups of other people that are not yourself, the more specific, the better. The more real, the better. So if you're going to mention other people, be very specific and say who they are and where they are and put them in a context. If they're in a context, that's okay, if it's real, not fake. So you might want to refer to your fellow students in the university that you went to. Maybe they all had a particular hobby that they enjoyed, or maybe there was a common viewpoint that many of you had. Or maybe you want to talk about what people do in your hometown, or in the high school that you went to. The more specific the better, the more real the better. But basically the key idea is that you're representing only your own view and your own opinion. Don't speak on behalf of other people. Now this leads us to issue 3b, which is the use of personal pronouns. Some people might argue, or I have actually heard argued, that it's okay to use I and to refer to yourself because the IELTS essay question often asks you about your personal opinion. Generally, with an academic style of writing, we avoid personal pronouns. So we don't say I, blah, 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 I, blah, blah, blah. There's no need to say I think or I believe, because everything in that essay comes from you. Everything you say in an essay, we assume that that's your view and that's what you think. So there's no need to spell it out, say I believe or I think. Anything that you write is from you. If you're using a quote or an idea from somewhere else, that's fine, but you have to identify where that quote or that idea is from. If you want to use a quote from a famous person, use quotation marks and say where you've taken the quote from. Don't ever steal anything. Don't steal ideas. Don't steal intellectual property. Okay, that's the main thing I wanted to talk to you about. Just reviewing that. Don't speak on behalf of large, unnamed, anonymous groups of people. Only speak on your own behalf. Anything you say is from you. If it's not from you, say where it's from, and avoid using personal pronouns. Keep it to an academic style. Okay, thank you very much for joining me in this part 3 of my brief 5-part sequence on widespread mistakes in IELTS essays. Enjoy your study, work hard, and I'll see you in the next one.